Okay, the reason we're doing this is because the internet and most people in general have a brain worm where they think they shouldn't talk about things when they happen because it's not their place, and they think that they can't talk about things that seem obvious to talk about because they're so obvious to talk about that like they're not going to do it, and they think that talking about bad things is like capitalizing on the bad thing happening, but it's not. When things happen, they should be discussed and they should be explored. That's why we're doing this.
Okay.
When someone
I'll go along with that.
I know, because it's like people think they shouldn't talk about things like this.
Yes, people do think that, and maybe sometimes they're right.
I don't think they're right. I think
They're never right?
I think most of the time they're not right. I think just things like this should be talked about.
Right. I mean, they maybe should be talked about if you have something to say,
Yeah.
but not everyone has something to say.
If you have nothing to say, don't talk about it. But if the thing stopping you from talking about tragedy is just your apprehension to talk about tragedy.
Right, yeah, then you are kind of you're making the world a worse place by like making this like you're not actually figuring out what like the value of events were.
Yeah, like Twomad's death is so sacred and esoteric that it can't be talked about, and if you do talk about it, you're just capitalizing on something.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think people are talking about it on the internet. I mean, right? Like they were just. I mean, most of it was mockery, and then yeah.
Yeah, it was mostly mockery.
I mean, I guess what was not happening was a substantive conversation, which was surprising to me about what are some takeaways of the story of his life and death, maybe.
Charlie, like, was critical. Had some good takes, actually.
Yeah?
I saw from a bit of his. Keemstar, surprisingly, had some decent takes.
Yeah, after egging him on.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think they knew each other, but I don't mean.
What were these takes?
Well, Charlie talked about atomization and how his career sort of is what did him in. Not necessarily anything about who he was, but just like the path he ended up taking and the paths he was forced down and felt like he had to go down ended up being ultimately like what took his life.
Yeah.
I think that's a good. I mean that is the takeaway, is that there's that avenue you can go down of just like existing for views and for spectacle, and eventually believing your own bullshit, and then like living in your own shit will take you out some way or another. And that's the path of you get rewarded with money when you do that in the short term.
Yeah, I mean, it really is this kind of following short-term thinking at the cost of your like long-term soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep feeling sad when I think about it. I mean, I wasn't his friend, but like, I don't know. I find the story so obvious and sad that, yeah, I don't know. I do feel sad about it.
Yeah. I did too, actually. The day that you did the video about it, I was like really off that whole day. And usually things like this like never get to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like snappy with people. Like I was in such a bad mood because I just kept thinking about like so many aspects of it were bothering me.
Yeah.
Of just like, I don't know. It's just weird. You can't blame someone, especially like for all the allegations and all the reported like things he did, right? It's like, yeah, shitty things to do, but it just gets so blown out of proportion, and then
I don't know.
He's clearly mentally ill.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't know. Like I don't know if they were blown out of proportion. Maybe they were completely proportionate based off the things that he had done. Just like the things that he was doing was clearly a product of mental illness and not being right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't know. It is kind of a fascinating case study. Like I remember when I was doing my interview with him, he said something really sweet to me. He was like, I never gave a shit about politics, but I'm going to be the first, person in my family who has like political thoughts and agency, and it's because of people like you who made epic videos or whatever. I was like, and then he accidentally dropped some popcorn on the floor when he said that, and he's like, "Oh, sorry." I was like, "Oh no, it's fine." And then he like noticed that I said it was fine. And he took some popcorn and he threw it on the ground, just to like make the situation worse, and that was funny.
Yeah.
And I found that funny and charming. And I realized, though, also that that's the kind of pattern of behavior that was like encouraged for him to be like, that's, you know, I'm going to push the boundary now. I'm going to push it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And eventually, you know, you start seeing him like post stuff to Twitter where he's like kicking the windshield. I don't know if you saw this video, but he's with a friend and he's kicking the windshield of the car, and the girl or someone who's with is like, stop. And he keeps doing it until the windshield starts cracking.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh my God. And he posts it to Twitter. It gets like 15,000 likes or something.
Yeah.
That was really near the end of his life. He was just posting on Twitter. Yeah, my thoughts are not organized on this subject.
Yeah, it's just being, I don't know. I mean, on the internet, all publicity is good. Like, any sort of focus is good, right?
Yeah.
If there's eyes on you, you're going to get rewarded with money and views.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah. That's what happened.
Yeah. There's no other way about it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change. But I don't know. I wish people would talk about. Yeah, I mean, use it as a case study, I guess, for, I don't know, the overall system of just like spectacle of just how that ends up. Do you not want to do this?
No, it's fine. I mean, I don't care. I guess like I can't help but feel like when I talked to him, I liked him.
Yeah.
I really liked him. And maybe I was talking to him. I think he seemed like, my only memory of him is like that interview, and then like that in person. That's all that really matters. But he was like, I liked him a lot. He was very charming, very charismatic. I think, I don't know, like he had a lot of potential to kind of like be a really good force in the world, I think.
Yeah.
He did have potential, and I mean, obviously didn't. Potential doesn't matter though if you don't fulfill it. But I also think, like, I don't know, he was like so clearly schizophrenic. I see this so many times. Someone is like going down a path of schizophrenia, and I tell you all this shit you can do to like offset it, because it's preventable. Schizophrenia is preventable if you do the right things. You take care of yourself. No one ever listens to me, and then they die, or they like end up in the hospital or whatever. And I just think this has happened to me so many times at this point.
Schizophrenia, or like a schizophrenic adjacent, like schizoid?
Twomad had like, I think probably schizophrenia. Like he had like textbook psychosis, and his thoughts were so disorganized. I saw this in a chat. He added me and like a bunch of like drama YouTubers into a chat with him, and he tried to explain his situation to like 8 people who are like, I guess, at least a little sympathetic to him, because we wanted to hear him out at least. And not a single person understood what he was saying. His thoughts were so disorganized, he could not express himself such that one person in the world understood what he was talking about.
Just complete disorganization.
He was like, I need help because I'm getting sued. And then people were like, oh, and then he, like, at some point he found out he wasn't even getting sued. Like, his own story was so tangled and warped, and he had no ability to like express himself in any way. Like, none. Like, he couldn't express what was happening. I guess except with like Neuron Star or whatever.
Yeah.
It was just like such fucking gobbledygook. Like, his mind was just gobbledygook. And I mean, we all encouraged him to just have a gobbledygook mind too. Like, he never had to learn how to express himself properly, because he was just like baba booey, and everyone was like, ha ha ha, so true, keep doing that and die.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, do you think with obviously lifestyle change, like, you had the worst possible lifestyle you could have if you were experiencing some mental health crisis, or like would eventually get a diagnosis of schizophrenia, like obesity?
I think he shouldn't have been on Vyvanse. He shouldn't have been drinking 2 Cokes a day, 2-liter Cokes. I don't know, that's what he told me when I met him. And he shouldn't have been on stimulants. He was on stimulants and SSRIs. He was psychotic. He should have been on antipsychotics. What the fuck is happening? Why was he on stimulants? Why was he on what doctor put him on stimulants? Why is everyone on stimulants? Why are we giving psychotic people stimulants? Why? I need to meet the guy in charge. I need to talk to this guy.
The head doctor.
I need to talk to him, and I need to have a conversation with him.
The big guy in the office.
You don't give a psychotic person stimulants. What the fuck is happening? Why is the medical system this shit? Why do I know more than like the doctors? What's going on? What's going on? Can you explain? It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up.
I know people are really waking up to that now. Like, I trust a doctor to do kidney surgery. I don't trust a doctor to tell me what I should eat or what medications I should take or how I should treat certain things. That's all. Like, I've never had a doctor tell me something that seems like it makes sense.
Right.
Outside of just like very specific medical diagnosis. Everything else is just.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're Canadian as well, so our situation's a little different than Americans, but I think that's mostly true across the board.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand how the brain works, really. They just know what, here's your pill. To be fair, though, like, the right pill would have probably saved his life. He was just on the wrong pills. Also, getting arrested probably would have saved his life. Like, he should have been arrested. He should have gone to jail, and then he wouldn't have died. And he probably in jail they would have given him antipsychotics or something. I don't know how it works, but
How did he not go to jail for pointing the gun at the girl?
it was a fake gun.
Oh.
It was an airsoft gun, and that was a big part of the allegations. Was like, oh, he pointed a gun at me. Well, it was a fake gun. Well, it doesn't matter if it was a fake gun because it's basically like pointing a real gun at someone.
If they don't know it's a fake gun.
I think it was a fake gun. I don't even know. I don't really care, honestly. I mean, like, he was insane, doing insane things. I have no doubt in my mind that he had like insane thoughts or did insane things because he was insane. I mean, he was like mentally unwell and like and having like what looks to be like an insidious psychotic break, which is like it's like insidious is like a term where it's like slow, gradual, as opposed to like, I know people who've had like really quick psychotic breaks. Sometimes it's like 2 days.
Yeah.
And they're like, blah! And then sometimes it's insidious where their mental health just declines, and they become more disorganized, more psychotic over like a period of like years.
Okay.
Also drugs.
Well, there's also, how do you parse out what do you do? Like, what's the judgment call when someone is being a bad person objectively?
Yeah.
And then the fact they're a bad person is the direct result of mental illness.
Yeah.
What is the judgment call there? Because when I go on Twitter and I see people like glad he's dead is fucking absurd. No one actually believes that. And then when I see people like, oh, it's completely, none of it matters, it's all null and void because he's mentally ill, that's also a bad take.
Are people saying that?
I think a very, very small percentage of people.
Yeah.
It's a take that exists, but it's a take that exists with anybody I know in my personal life or like any celebrity.
Right. I actually, I saw.
It always goes both ways.
I saw people being like, yeah, I don't blame Twomad for this at all. I blame society. Well, okay.
Yeah, like you need personal agency in the equation, but you also need to. I don't know. It's different if you enter like a manic episode and you're clearly mentally ill, or you're in some sort of psychotic lapse from drug use, or a bad diet, or like sleep deprivation, and then you start like, he had like 6 burner phone numbers that he was like spam texting this girl, like psychotic shit.
Yeah.
She'd block the phone number, he'd get another burner phone number, and then spam text this girl again.
Yeah.
Right? That's clearly not, it's different than someone who is organized enough to have a plan to do something to you.
Yeah.
That's clearly like scary, but like psychotic behavior that's probably not going to result in anything substantial or consequential. You never know, but it just seems so fucked up where you'd be like, oh, this person's insane. You wouldn't be like, oh, this person's trying to kill me. You'd be like, oh, this person is an insane person who keeps texting me.
Yeah.
So like in that situation, how do you be like, okay, don't do that. You have personal agency, but also it's the result of a larger system or a larger force at play, right? Where's the balance, and how do you judge someone that's in that situation?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of these like individual agency versus society debates that's never going to get resolved.
Just determinism versus the other one.
Determinism versus I don't know, free willism.
No, free will versus determinism.
Or like I guess there's another spectrum called constructivism versus it's like essentialism versus constructivism.
It's like nature versus nurture.
Yeah, and that's like a separate on political axes. It's like completely separate from all the other axes, because like a constructivist might be inclined to like say, oh, this person's just a product of their environment, and an essentialist is like, no, there's something about their essential soul. And the essentialists, I mean, tend towards the right, but you can have like left-wing essentialists. In fact, there are a lot of left-wing essentialists who are like, oh, well, because, you know, like a left-wing essentialist argument is, well, you're white, so you're racist or something.
Yeah.
But like a right-wing essentialist argument is like, you're white, so you're racist. But
yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. I mean, how it's so case by case. Anyone I've known, I've always taken the...
We're really tranking a dead corpse here. Hey.
Horse tranquilizing a dead corpse.
Horse tranquilizing a dead corpse.
Anyone I've known who's done bad things, who is also mentally ill in my personal life, there's always been I don't blame you for what you did, but I blame you for not taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think it's still flawed. It's still too flawed to like be something that would have a solution to it, but that's the only take I've had where I feel like this is the right take to have.
Right.
If people repeatedly tell you that you're like making them feel bad, and everyone in your life is like getting sick of your bullshit, and you have things you can fix and you don't fix them, then it's on you that you didn't fix them.
Yeah.
Even if it's even if it's mental illness that's causing it, you can fix things.
Yeah. Yeah. Take as much, I guess, responsibility as you can for it.
You can go outside and like get vitamin D and then mitigate, anyway.
I'm so sad I can't even go outside. You don't understand. Brogan.
Well, yeah, because I feel like it just flips on to, there's a lack of responsibility when you feel like you have responsibility to those around you to make them happy, or at least be a good person or be useful in their lives.
Yeah.
Right? When you have that responsibility, it feels easier to take care of yourself. Like, I see myself as someone that my purpose to my friends is to at least not be a nuisance, at best be useful to them, or at least don't get in the way.
Yeah.
And I try to live by that. So when I like snap at people, when I'm in a bad mood and I snap at people and I really feel like my existence is making someone's life harder, it's like I'll do anything to get out of that.
Yeah.
I will do anything. I'll go to the gym for fucking 2 hours, go for a 4-hour walk. I like won't drink for 2 weeks. I'll like do anything to become a better person. Mm-hmm. But it's a responsibility thing. And that's not me I'm not saying like, I'm a great person. I'm just saying like I think that's a good mindset to have, is feel responsibility for those around you. When you don't feel that, when you're like, oh, the world revolves around my emotions and I act as if my emotions are the only thing that matters, like first and foremost, you're going to do shit like eat McDonald's once a day and sleep 2 hours a night, or sleep 14 hours a day and smoke weed all day and not leave your house and not get vitamin D and become a horrible fucking vapid person.
Right.
Because I've known people like that, and it's like, I don't have sympathy.
Right.
I'm like, there's so many things you can do to fix, and you know what you need to do to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't have like esoteric health knowledge, even if you don't have some weird like niche health knowledge like we do, you know that going outside is going to make you feel better. You know that not eating sugar is going to make you feel better. You know that sleeping 8 hours for like 5 days straight is going to make you feel better and make you a better person. If you can't do those basic things, the problem isn't your mental illness. The problem is your perspective on the world and what you value.
Right. Facts don't care about your feelings, Brogan says. I think I kind of understand. I don't think it's, if someone wants to be glad he's dead or whatever, like, I get it, like you think he's bad and you think he's done worse, and like you think the world's gonna be better off without him, like whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have many, like the lessons from this kind of like pop into my head and then like didn't just disintegrate away. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe the lesson's so obvious that everyone sort of inherently knows it.
I think maybe here's the lesson. Some people, your genes are bad. We've plucked you out of your cultural context of Africa and put you in Canada. And then you didn't get enough vitamin D and now you've developed schizophrenia. And I can only say this as an off-white person myself. I think maybe if you're living in a nice warm country, you don't bring your little baby to to Winnipeg. I think they fumbled. I think the parents fumbled the bag on that one.
Yeah.
I think my parents fumbled the bag on that one too, but I ended up, I guess, a little better.
They brought you to the fucking beautiful.
Relax. No. Wait, you said it already. Okay, fine.
Oh no, I was gonna say longitude.
Oh yeah, the longitude. Yeah.
Yeah, or what's the one? Latitude.
Longitude.
The one that goes horizontal around the globe.
Lats are like wide, right? Like
Yeah,
when you
latitude.
do your lats.
Yeah, latitude. They brought you out of your beautiful latitude.
And they brought me into the longitude.
They brought you north.
No, don't bring me into longitude. No.
The lines in the globe, they just like they plucked you out of the one that's by the equator, and they just brought you like 6 steps up the ladder.
Yeah, but I turned out. Yeah, I turned out.
I'm a person.
I'm a person.
I'm definitely real.
Yeah. No, I think. I mean, there's something going on, like Twomad, Etika.
Yeah.
I think there's something going on. I think I can probably make a pretty. I think I notice like schizophrenics are typically like non-white. In Canada, like a lot of the schizophrenics, I feel like are just like they didn't get enough vitamin D, because that's actually associated with getting schizophrenia.
Is there?
And you need more vitamin D if you're a non-white person.
Interesting. So is there stats behind that? Do you know of?
It's all vibe.
Okay, if you went to like,
but there are stats about non-white people need more vitamin D, and lack of vitamin D when you're a young person contributes to all this stuff.
So what if you went to like non-Caucasian second-generation immigrants in Scandinavia? That's probably like a body of people you could study.
Yeah, someone should get on that.
Yeah, someone get on that and see if there's schizophrenia rates are higher.
Yeah.
In that group.
This is a great podcast. I began by crying, and then I moved into the race realist arguments pretty quickly there. Positive race realist arguments.
Yeah, positive race realist arguments. Those are the best ones.
We need to reappropriate race realism for good causes.
To be beneficial.
Like, oh, hey, you don't actually need to wear as much sunscreen if you're a non-white person.
Yeah. It's like, oh, hey, just be careful in Canada. You might get schizophrenia.
Yeah.
If you don't go outside long enough. Yeah. I mean, I think the other thing, too, is the thing that's been driving me insane about following this on Twitter is just seeing how overused terms are. I'm at the point now where if I see, like, anyone on the internet being accused of, like, rape or pedophilia who's just, like, a big internet character, I assume it's, like, the crime is them sending a message to a girl on Discord who was, like, 2 years, who was, like a 16-year-old girl on Discord.
Yeah.
That's all I assume. It's so overused. And that term has been so watered down. And it's such a specific term. It's completely objective what being a rapist is and what being a pedophile is. There's a complete object. There's a binary between being a rapist and not being a rapist. There's no subjectivity.
Okay. I think people disagree with that. Like, people say, well, there's like a spectrum of like, first of all, Brogan, you're on a podcast on youtube.com and you're talking about, you have to say SA and PDF file.
Oh yeah, SA PDF file.
Well, it's too late now.
And grape.
Yeah.
Grapist.
Did you hear she unalived herself after the essay?
After the essay? I thought it was grape.
I thought it was grape.
Revenge corn.
Revenge corn. Yeah. Again, I mean, a lot of it seems, I don't know, but it seems like a lot of this was just like he was going crazy on Twitter, and then he's like apparently bad because of some of the things he said on Twitter. I don't know how much of it was action. I think the essay stuff was possibly action, although I don't know. I don't even want to speculate on it because I don't know.
I don't want to speculate on it. I'm more just speaking to the larger world of the internet, where it's just these terms are so objective and also overused that it's like terrorism. It's the same thing when someone says like, "Oh, that guy was a terrorist." I'm like, that's a specific word that means a specific thing.
Okay, but what about Vosh? People are calling him a pedophile.
He's not.
Okay.
He's not a pedophile.
Okay.
He's like it's gross. It's cringy. I wouldn't want my children around him.
Right.
But he's not a pedophile. It's an objective term.
Right.
And you can't overuse the term. Just like, call a spade a spade.
Right.
Use the proper term. There's 1,000 words you could call Twomad, but as of right now, out of the substantial evidence that exists, pedophile and rapist aren't one of them.
Yeah.
If evidence comes out that he does it, then like for all means, but like don't overuse that term.
Right, a bit of a rhetorical inflation.
It's just because it's like all it does is water the term down. Like I said, if I see someone like get accused of something on the internet, I assume it's like a fucking text message that made someone uncomfortable.
Right.
And then it like flips over into like, rapist.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm really not speculating on over anything he did.
I mean, I'm not.
I have no
I'm not.
idea
No, I mean, I get what you're getting at. Like there's like some rhetorical inflation. It's also like, I don't know. You're just a random person on Twitter. You're not too worried about like using legal terms to describe what you like. If you hate the person, then you may as well just be a pedophile or a rapist or whatever.
I think if I was Elon Musk, I would to get Twitter blue, you would have to do like a grammatical test. Like you have to take a course. That's how you get Twitter blue.
Right.
You pay $10 and you have to take like a 2-month course on grammar.
Right.
And definitions. And then once you pass the test, like an 85%, you're allowed to get the blue check mark.
Why not just make that a citizen requirement?
Yeah, so people
you get more authoritarian. But
people use the terms properly. Like a guy in a mega hat goes to a mall and like punches a woman in the face, and it's like, this rapist terrorist at the mall. It's like, it's
right.
Call him the right thing, at least.
Right.
Save those words for serious things because they're serious things.
Shit, I dropped Zin all over me.
I was wondering what you were doing. I thought you were crumbling a piece of nicotine gum in your hand.
No, I dropped Zin all over me.
Oh, you can gum it all
like cocaine.
Yeah. Just pure nicotine salts.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, that is kind of an interesting like political position. Almost like you need to have some sort of competency in order to participate in public discourse. That's a very grammar Nazi perspective of you, which is it's fine. I want to do like a grammar political compass. Like the grammar Nazi is like, this is the way you should speak and this is the way you should talk and there's only one right way of doing it. And there's grammar communism, which is like, whatever, man, as long as I can understand you. And there's like grammar anarchism, which is like, blah, 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 blah.
We just need a bit of objectivity with our words.
Right.
Same thing with mental illnesses. We were talking about this before the podcast started of just there's names for the names aren't great. Like languages, I'm not saying language is a perfect tool.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying that it's better than language anarchy where everything means everything.
Right.
Right? Where you can call someone who like doesn't donate $2 at the Walmart checkout and you're like, that guy's such a psychopath.
Right.
Like not the definition of psychopath. Extreme example, but like there's plenty of examples with mental illnesses.
Right.
You don't have, we were talking earlier about being manic because someone's like a good thing happens to somebody and they become excited and like cheery and kind of energetic and like rambly and you're like, you're manic right now.
Yeah.
It's like manic's a specific definition.
Uh-huh.
It's not that specific.
No.
But it's more specific than that.
That's true, yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah, it's complicated. Because these psychiatric terms are also very mushy, like schizophrenia is not really a thing. It's like 30 different things manifesting in like 8 different ways.
Yeah.
So,
Dude,
I don't know.
I don't know either, but we can try a bit harder.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hate, I don't know. Whenever stuff like this happens, I am like black pilled on every angle. Internet killed Twomad. People's reactions are retarded. Twomad was retarded. The whole every iota of the situation is retarded. There's not one part of this that makes sense or like is predictable or goes the way it should go. Everything is just all over the place all at once. Mm-hmm. And then these things happen and I just lose faith in the world. And I don't have an answer. I'm happy I'm not a child star.
Oh yeah.
I'm happy I got 50,000 YouTube subscribers when I was 25 and not 15.
Hell yeah, brother. I mean, I'm like 21 and it still messed me up. Like if I was like Twomad's age, jeez.
Yeah, 18. Like
18?
500K subs at 18.
Oh my god.
Yeah, be fucked.
I don't even want to think about that because I will cry again.
in Winnipeg and rural Canada.
Yeah.
I'd be a fucking mess. I'd be a fucking nutcase. That much money, that much clout. Like you're just propelled to whatever high school you're in. You're the most popular person in your high school.
Yeah. There are a lot of social factors that make me sympathetic to the like. Okay, this wasn't just his own personal agency. Like we are kind of victims of the systems that we exist in, and he was a victim of the internet in that way, of that encourages all of his bad behaviors, or not even his bad behaviors, but like it encourages his behaviors to the point where they become lethal. I'm working on a video about irony poisoning, and it's like inspired by the Twomad situation. And basically my thesis is like, irony is like a functional tool, and you should be able to use it, and you should be able to like not use it. And if you forget that how to not use it, like if it's just on all the time, it's no longer a tool. It's just part of your identity. And then you're irony poisoned. And the solution to irony poisoning is community. Is other people.
Yeah. I mean, what's the community other? I know, yeah. I mean, you need someone to bounce your bullshit off of, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have anyone to check you. Like, that's why it feels so good to be alone, because no one checks you. Like, you can get... I've had that before, I'm sure you have, of just, like, alone thinking about shit.
Yeah.
You can just tell yourself anything and then get the dopamine from being right because you're not bouncing your bullshit off anybody.
Yeah, you're just stacking your delusions on top of each other.
And it feels great.
Yeah.
It feels great because no one's checking you. It feels great because you're immediately rewarded with thinking, like, I can sit alone in my room and think everything I'm doing is right and be right in that context because no one is telling me otherwise. So I am objectively right that everything I'm doing is right. And I can just, like, fucking propel that into being, yeah, completely atomized, completely fucking broken. And the second you say to someone... I've had friends do this to me, right? Where someone just goes alone for 4 months and they come back. I'm like, you're a fucking asshole. Like, you fucked up. Like, you need to, like, figure your shit out because and they're snaps them back to reality, right? Where 4 months of just isolation and they come out and they're like a psychopath. Of course you'd be. And they come out, I'm like, fuck you. And then they're all like, oh, fuck, no one's told me that for 4 months. No one has told me anything I've done is wrong for 4 months straight. And then it snaps them back to reality.
Yeah, I like how socially we decided that solitary confinement was like such a bad punishment for prisoners that like it's like arguably should be illegal. And then we just voluntarily all did that, but we had internet access.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's literally...
We had a Psychosis machine in the padded room with us.
Yeah. Oh, God. I know, there's nothing, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sure my thoughts will be more organized in a couple of weeks. I don't know. I wish I had more insights on this, but we were really just kind of looking at the same information and trying to make sense of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame anyone who comes to different conclusions based off the information. Like, it's confusing.
It is confusing.
So I don't think there's a right answer. I don't think there's a right way to feel about it.
Yeah. No, me neither. I don't think there's a right way to feel about it. I think it's just like, don't. I don't know. I mean, it's the same system that has killed, celebrities for years.
I think that's accurate. Actually, I think it's not like too much of a stretch to be like the path of celebrity, and the path of being a public figure.
Specifically
a teenager.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's so gross. It's so gross what it does to your brain, especially when it's developing.
I mean, there's plenty of...
I want... World is a fuck, 999 dead iPad kids.
It's really interesting if you look at even just movie stars who got famous in their like late 20s, early 30s, how much more reasonable they are as people.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt, he didn't get like he was a server at a restaurant in New York till he was like 27.
Yeah, if you're like a teenager and you're like, "Oh, I just want to blow up. I just want to blow up online like right now. Maybe like develop as a person."
Yeah. And then have something better to say.
And then
blow up out of like
so many kids want to be YouTubers. They've got nothing to say. You're a child.
I know. I don't want to listen
to you. You're a kid. Maybe
know.
get some wisdom under your belt.
At least get the 25 so you know what's wrong. I feel like 25 is the age where you realize what you don't know.
Yeah.
And then at least realize what you don't know.
Right.
Like you can't. You're way too young to come to conclusions yet. That's like 50.
What would you have been like if you became like your level of micro celebrity when you were 18?
18?
Yeah.
I would have. Oh, dude. I don't know what the fuck. Dude, probably like Twomad.
Yeah.
Because I was like just complete nihilist. And like nihilist shitlord
Yeah.
was like I would do anything for like attention, and was just like super just wanted attention all the time.
Yeah.
Totally would have leaned into that more and more. I'd be fucking like knockout game, beating people up,
Yeah.
pranking people, fucking breaking cop car windows,
Yeah.
saying the N-word in public.
I mean, he did that too, but he
Could, yeah. I couldn't do it. I'd be like paying people $1 to say the N-word to be one of those 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Cillian Murphy, you know him? Peaky Blinders.
No.
He didn't get famous till he was like 35. He's based as fuck. Doesn't have social media.
Yeah.
And he's like, why don't you have social media? He's like, I just feel a little old for it.
Yeah. I mean, culturally, generationally, we figure this out or we die. Or our lives get a lot worse.
Yeah.
So it's important to think about it and talk about it, figure it out. That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't feel any joy picking this guy's corpse apart. So
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, it's not. There's no like. I don't give a fuck about the drama, or like.
but I also do think there is probably a valid social reason for like telling people not to pick the corpse apart. There is a reason why there's like a bit of apprehension of not talking about someone after they right after they die. It's the same reason you don't talk about a school shooting right after it happens and try to politicize it.
Yeah.
But in this case, this isn't a school shooting. This is something that's like has a very obvious message that no one's picking up on, or it seems like a lot of people aren't picking up on. Like, cool, dude, nice. I just think about all the jokes. I mean, like, I don't think he would have cared. He probably would have found it funny that people are joking about him after he dies, and I joke about him after he dies. But you know, I also think that we should be aware of the. I think we should at least be aware of the arguments for the social conditions that cause this to happen, instead of just blaming the individual.
Yeah. That is the takeaway. Both sides bad.
I really feel like my value as a person is just providing data for other people to make conclusions.
Yeah.
And in this case, if the data I can provide is there's social factors at play that contributed to this, and it wasn't just a bad person. Maybe it was a bad person, but it wasn't just a bad person. Then that's the value I can provide. Like, here's some information. I'm a P type. I gather the information. I give it to the J types for them to make decisions off of.
Yeah.
And then also sometimes I have to make decisions, and I'm like, no. That's been my life for the last few weeks because we're getting a new studio. I'm like, no decisions, commitment. Yeah.
I wonder how much bullshit could be avoided if we stopped platforming people under 20.
There's a case to be. I mean, CJ makes this case. Like,
yeah.
There should be a bit more authoritarianism around the internet.
And I mean, like, everyone under 20. I mean, like, people who are born rich, people like all this shit. If you're under 20, you're just everyone under 20 is equal status. You're an under 20. There's no social hierarchy. Okay, there's no societal hierarchy. There's always a social hierarchy, but there's no societal hierarchy under 20. Everyone's the exact same. And then once you get past that age, you get the opportunity to like rise or fall. But under 20, it's like proletariat. Under 20 is like everyone's the exact same. You're seen as the same thing. I don't know how. That's very abstract, very utopian.
Yeah.
But it seems like so much, dude. Everyone on the fucking internet who's an idiot is that because they have not changed since they were 17. Sneeko. Same thing. All these people just haven't changed, haven't had the opportunity to change, haven't had the incentive to change, haven't had the anything to change. They're just
Imagine like you cannot change or develop as a person without it being like a character arc for others to witness. I feel this as well. I mean, like finding a community here, and like that's helped me so much, and like it's made my life so much better. And I cannot just like have that. I mean, I can, but like I also now have like I feel like a social obligation to like make that a public thing because it's part of my life, and I feel like it could help others. But like,
yeah, part of your life, part of your career, part of your income.
Yeah, it's part of my income as well.
I mean, let's steelman it. Like, imagine if you're listening right now and you're just a 28-year-old, 30-year-old who's had a pretty like normal life, normal job. You know, not like you're famous, but like you're doing pretty good. Imagine you couldn't change from 16 onward or 17 onward or 18 onward. You weren't allowed to change. And if you did change, you would risk your livelihood or your career or all your friends if you changed at all. If you grew, if you changed perspective, if you changed opinions on something.
Yeah.
Because you can't change your opinions on things.
Yeah, it does happen. It happens in political spheres.
Yeah.
Like someone has a political belief when they're 18 and that they don't have when they're 28, but they've built their career around.
Yeah.
I mean, but that happens, and sometimes they do change, and sometimes it does work out. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, like, it's just so gross to, like, not be able to internally change without thinking about it as, like, a career move. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, being, you know, Twomad being, like, 23. I am speculating, but just as a projection. Being 23 and just, I don't know, feeling like you don't have the opportunity to grow up. Like, you don't have the opportunity to change, or you don't have, there's just not an option for you. You're like, I fucking have to keep doing this. I have to keep doing what I've been doing. And it's just too risky for my livelihood to grow. It's too much of a risk in my career.
Yeah, Twomad really did just double down, 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 double down.
I mean, that's what kids do.
That is what kids do. That's what immaturity does.
Yeah.
He was not mature.
Most of these people aren't mature. Anyone you see on the internet who's been famous since they're a teenager or like their early 20s isn't, or at least teenager isn't that mature.
I guess I mean, like, the thing is, you don't get mature with age necessarily. I've met people who are older than me and less mature than me. I've met people who are younger than me and more mature than me.
Yeah, same. You get mature with experience and wisdom.
That's why you gotta be careful what mentor you pick. Pick a good mentor, because you could pick a guy who's older than you, and then they're like, oh, this person's less mature than me.
Yeah, totally good.
Yeah, be careful about that. But you should get a mentor. Intergenerational relationships are important. You know, Twomad had no mentor. Sneeko, his mentor was an internet character, Andrew Tate,
for 6 months.
For like 6 months,
and then he dropped them.
Yeah, you dropped him because he just, you know, he didn't care about him at all. What a fucking awful mentor. That's like the worst mentor. Yeah, I'm grateful for my mentor.
Yeah, or like Aiden Ross. I don't know, there's so many fucking people on the internet, man, who just. I think it's why Destiny. I'm biased. I kind of like Destiny as a character. He stands out because he was a normal person until he was like 28. Like he like managed a fucking Burger King or something like shit like that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Until he didn't start streaming until he was like in his late 20s.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, had a kid and shit, and was like a completely like lower middle class average U.S. citizen until he was like 28. And that shows versus like Hassan, whose dad gave him like millions of dollars, and whose uncle runs the Young Turks. Like, he's a complete nepo baby. It's just like the difference is so obvious.
Yeah.
No matter what you
sure.
Whether if you agree with Destiny or not,
I wish I could.
The difference in character is obvious.
I just wish I could flip a switch and forget about all these people, and I'll just like excel all this information from my brain.
Yeah. Or at least some stuff is important. I mean, it's hard. It's like so much. Some of it's important. Some of it reflects reality. But most of it is just useless. Just useless information. Taking up your fucking... Think about this. You eat food, and some of those calories get burned to think about Hassan Piker.
Fuck. Oh, man. Oh, that really hits home. Yeah.
Yeah. You go home and you eat a fucking like AAA ribeye steak, olive oil with some fucking onion, some garlic, some mushrooms, baked sweet potato.
Oh my god.
You get
and that gets burned on me thinking about what does this streamer think? Yeah, that happens. I'm like, I wonder what like Vosh, Destiny, Ben Shapiro, and Hassan think about this.
I went on a Valentine's Day dinner the other night. Yeah. And I got like a prefix menu. Yeah. There's a sashimi course. Mm-hmm. So I'm eating like, it's a really expensive restaurant, and the bluefin tuna is a very fine bluefin tuna. Probably the best bluefin tuna I've ever tried. I was like, I didn't know flesh could taste this good. Yes. I ate that. This meal was like hundreds of dollars. Yeah. And that went in my body and then metabolized. And then those calories came back to my brain to think about lolicon horse porn on Vosh's computer. Yeah. That's why that fish died. Like a Japanese man went out to the Pacific Ocean and caught a bluefin tuna. He said, "Wow, I just caught $60,000, 600-pound bluefin tuna. This is the most beautiful tuna in the most beautiful region." And they cut it up and they shipped parts of it to fucking Toronto, Ontario, across the world. 10 years of evolution in life, everything happening just for this tuna's energy to get processed into thinking about the lolly horse porn on Vosh's computer.
Yeah, I really got that you've summed it up pretty well there.
What's the takeaway? Let's wrap it up. 47 minutes is long enough to talk about this.
Yeah, the takeaway is I have to do my my art calls in about 15 minutes, which are the best things that I've been doing so far, which is just I have 1 hour calls with people who are like starting their career or like halfway through their career and they want some advice. They need some deadlines, some accountability. It's what I've been doing my entire life basically, but now I get to do it for money, as a career.
Yeah.
Like that's been really rewarding for me. Everyone who's done the calls has really liked it. Has gotten a lot of value out of it. And, I keep getting better at being like a force of guidance and mentorship for people. And, it's super rewarding and I like it a lot. And I look forward to, like Sundays is when I do my calls. So I got like 3 calls today. Yeah.
Best outcome. Zero grift.
Zero grift. I feel excited. I actually want to advertise them on my second channel. I don't have to advertise them very much because I advertised it once and I sold out completely with my calls.
You're excited. Life's good.
They
get value.
Yeah.
You get value.
I do feel like I'm sad about Twomad because like I related so much to where he was and I'm just like I guess I feel like I escaped the path that he was down.
Like you felt like you were there at 23?
I was like not quite there, but I was like kind of there. It's still like it's not like I'm totally escaped that possibility of that happening to me, but like I just feel my life is really good with community and with like true values that I like help people with and like that I try to like give back into the world and I try to like help people and I love people.
Yeah.
And like I just don't think he had any of that. Fuck. That's the takeaway. Like just like if you want to like look at this story and just live a good life, that's probably the takeaway.
Yeah.
Like try to live a good life, try to leave your room, try to love people. That's what I said in my video and I still stand by that. Like just love and have community, and community causes problems, sure, but like those problems are good to have.
Yeah. If you're feeling fucked up and everyone thinks you're an asshole, just go talk to somebody. I don't mean go like rant about your problems, but like go get a coffee with somebody.
Provide value. Like if you feel like your life is falling apart, maybe the best thing to do is like help someone else.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the best thing you can do for yourself is find what value you can provide to another person.
Yeah, because you can't find it. There's a reason we're social creatures, man. You can't find it within. You're not going to think your way out of your problems by yourself in your room. You're going to go outside and your problems are going to slowly disappear when you start worrying about things that actually matter.
Yeah. Things are really good.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah,
right now.
I feel that.
We are creating a scene in Toronto. We've met so many cool people. We're going to get like a new studio. We're splitting it 7 ways with 7 different creators. We're going to have like community events like very frequently. We're doing live shows in Toronto. We're making these connections. We're going to throw like huge like, clout parties or whatever. Like that's what you're planning. So like I don't know, like things are really good for us.
Yeah.
And they're good for us in part because they're good for me in part because I was just aware of all of these problems years ago. And if I didn't have that awareness of that neuroticism, if I had medicated it away, let's say, I don't think I would have fixed any of those problems.
You would just put them on pause.
I would have put them on pause indefinitely.
Yeah.
And it might have killed me.
Yeah. I feel sort of similar. Just it's all isolation. It's all isolation. Just don't isolate. Just the second you stop isolating, your life will improve eventually. It's hard, but like it will. Your life won't get worse from talking to people.
Yeah.
Your life won't get worse from going outside. Just like even if it seems hard, you're not gonna like get back from a walk or get back from like a coffee with somebody and go, fuck, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I just stayed in my room all day.
Yeah.
You're not gonna think that.
Yeah.
Start somewhere at least. If you're fucked up, just start small. Do one thing. Go for like a half an hour walk.
Yeah.
Don't worry about going to the gym 6 days a week or fucking eating like the perfect amount of calories and protein. Just like go outside, talk to one person a day, and go outside for half an hour a day.
Yeah.
Start there. If you do that, then you won your day. You won your day. You can go to bed. You can rest easy.
Yeah. Spend one day with the goal of like making someone's life like just not worse.
Yeah.
Or like 2% better.
I put a homeless guy in a shelter last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was passed out. I got out of a restaurant. I was like eating something on the side of the road, and there was this guy like blacked out in a snowbank. His face was covered in blood, and people kept like looking at him and walking away. And I was like, "Are you all right?" And he's like, And I like picked him up and put him inside a bus shelter and like covered him up, and he like wasn't moving or responding, but he's like, "Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you." And I just like set him and like made sure he wasn't gonna die.
Yeah, you do that a lot. Like you also told me that like a homeless guy with a big cart, like he like all of his cart stuff like fell over, and your girlfriend was there with you, and she was like, "Are you gonna help him? Are we gonna help him?" And he's like, "You were like, that's the only thing. That's what we got to do.
Yeah,
like that's just what we got to do."
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's what you gotta do.
It's good. It's good for you to good of you to do that. I mean, in between your rants of wanting to beat them up.
Yeah, just fucking yeah. Help one person a day. Set a goal. Go goon and play Overwatch and drink Coke and fucking rot all day, and then wake up, and we just all you have to do is help one person.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. Help someone cross the fucking street. Someone drops like a pencil, pick it up for them,
Yeah.
and then go back home and goon and play video games.
Yeah.
Do that for a week, and you'll want to stop playing video games a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think none of this is to say, I think you should, I think it's okay to complain a little bit about your social conditions because they are bad. Like, that's the thing. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be this easy to be isolated. And we shouldn't have a world in which it's this easy to be isolated. We don't have to have a world where it's this easy to be isolated. But we do, and within that frame, like accepting reality as it is, then yeah, just be aware of the problems. I think that's like really 90% of it.
We do live in a world where it's life. It seems like life used to be that you could interact with people accidentally constantly.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't want to interact with someone, you were still forced to at some point during the day.
Yeah.
Right? Like you had to go to work, you had to go get groceries, you had to leave your house to like somehow feed yourself and get things. Now you don't. So like if you no matter how much you fucking hated people, you still had to interact with people. It was a fact of life. Now you don't at all. You can live the next 4 months of your life. I can live the next 4 months of my life never leaving my house. I'll still have a house and income, food, anything I need to like not die.
Yes, I know people like this.
Yeah, you can do it. And so it's harder. Now you have to interject in your life to interact with people.
Yeah.
You have to force yourself to do it. It's not accidental anymore. So
Yeah.
that's why it's harder.
I want to get my schizoid friend on this podcast.
Yeah.
We should like interview him because he actually hasn't like left the house in like a year. He just like Uber Eats.
I'd love to. That'd be fun.
Yeah, he's a really interesting case study of modernity. He was like working 3 remote jobs simultaneously at one point, and he was like doing like 2 hours worth of work a day, but he was getting paid for all 3 of those remote jobs. And he was like using ChatGPT to like do half the work for him, and he was just like he stayed at home all day, never saw anyone.
Doing what? Playing video games or nothing?
I don't know, like researching weird stuff, playing video games. Yeah. He just like he's schizoid. He gets into like really solitary activities, and his life works so well. Like we've built the perfect society for this guy.
I have friends like that.
Yeah.
I know people like that too.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah. Takeaway: talk to people. Don't get famous young. If you're a bad person, you've done bad things. At least try to put yourself in a situation where you stop doing bad things. But also, life is a little hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Just take responsibility. Believe in something bigger than yourself.
Yeah. I've fucking said everything I can possibly say about this of value, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. So I also have to prepare for my call in 5 minutes.
A 23-year-old died of a drug overdose. It's sad, but also don't be him. That's a thing to avoid.
That's what I kept thinking every time I saw someone like making fun of him or like joking about him. I was like, cool joke, man. A 23-year-old is dead.
Yeah.
A 23-year-old's corpse is rotting right now, and his family's mourning, and his brother is mourning, and his parents are mourning, and they were African immigrants, and they thought, I'm gonna bring my son to a better place and give him a better life, and now he's dead. So cool joke. Nice joke. Awesome joke. I mean, I don't even care. Like, I joke about it too. We're like joking about it's fine. He probably wouldn't give a fuck if we joked about it, but like, it's sad. You're allowed to be sad about it. That's my takeaway. I think it's sad. It's sad that he's dead. He didn't deserve it. And maybe he did deserve it, but it's sad. It's sad that he's dead.
Yeah, and this is the only time in history where the societal circumstances could line up where this could just happen so easily.
Yeah. There we go. The end.
That's the takeaway.